I will send these documents to Purnima, and he will share these documents, right? There are 17 participants now. Dr. උදාරගේ තව lecture එකක් තියෙනවා කියලා තියෙනවා. ඒක කියන්නේ ඒක වෙන්නේ නැති නේද? ඔව් අදට දැන් ඕගොල්ලන්ට දීලා ඕගොල්ලන්ට one of the students told me that she has discussed with all of you, and the free time slot is Monday and Tuesday 9 to 12. So that's why I scheduled the tutorial for this time slot. So I will do the tutorial for today, but I will change this time slot because you all clash the lecture and this tutorial නේ. ඒක නිසා අපි මේ time slot එක change කරමු. අදට නම් මේක right. දැන් අද ඒක හැබැයි ප්‍රශ්නයක් නේ. අද මේ වෙලාවේ lecture එකක් යනවා නේද? මං චුට්ටක් ගයා මැඩම් කෙනුත් අහලා බලන්නම් අද ටියුටෝරියල් එක කැන්සල් කරන්න ඕනිද නැත්නම් අදට කරන්න යන්නද කියලා. ගන්න හැදුවම පොඩක් කියන්න මැත්ස් ටියුටෝරියල් එකක් තියෙනවා කියලා මීට පස්සේ එහෙම දාන්න හදනවා නම් it's a temporary temporary අදට විතරක් කරන lecture එකක් නේ ඒක. So මං හිතන්නේ next week ඉඳන් ඒක ප්‍රශ්නයක් වෙන එකක් නෑ. අපි ඒත් බලමු මොකක් හරි ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙනවා නම් අපි වෙනස් කරගෙන මේක කරමු. So අදට අපි tutorial එක පටන් ගමු, right? එහෙම අනිත් අයට පාඩුවක් වෙනවා නම් I can do it again too, right? ඒක අනිත් අයට පාඩුවක් වෙනවා නම් මම ආයෙත් lecture එක කරන්නම්, right? මේ tutorial එක කරන්නම්. Okay, we will go for our first question now. Can you see the PowerPoint, this slide for you? This slide? ඔයගලන්ට මේ slide එක පේනව නේද? screen එක share කරපු එක? And can you hear my voice clearly? මගේ කතා කරන එක clear ඇහෙනව නේද? And screen එක පේනව නේද? අයියෝ ඔයගොල්ලෝ ඔක්කොම yes. Purnima, thank you Purnima. Message බලන්න ගියාම හරිම අමාරුයි, right? It's better to talk with me, right? Okay. What happened to this? Right. The first question is you have to find the double integral values. It is very easy because you have already learned the integration now. So double integration is like the partial derivation, right? While we are thinking some variable is constant and integrate other, right? Partial derivation එක වගේ තමයි. So in the first question, first part, you have to integrate x plus sin y plus 1 dxy dx dy. Here you have to integrate your function with respect to x first, and after that with respect to y. So let me show the answers for you. Now you can see this when you are integrating this function with respect to x first, you have you can integrate this x as x squared over 2x. Here you have sin y, so, but there are no x terms. No x terms means here the power of x term is 0. So you have to add another x here, x sin y, plus here also you have x to the power 0. So you have to integrate by using this x here. So the limit of these x terms is 0 to 2. That's why I substitute the limits like this, right? By substituting these limits for this function, x squared over 2 plus x sine y plus x function, we can conclude with this expression 4 plus 2 sine y, right? The intermediate simplifications are not mentioned here. ඔගොල්ලෝ ඒ simplifications පොඩක් කරලා බලන්න. මම මේ path එක තමයි දීලා තියෙන්නේ main points ටික. So here you have remained the 4 plus 2 sine y, and you have to integrate this function with respect to y now. So when you are integrating now, your expression in terms of y only. There are no any x terms here, right? So when you are integrating this function with respect to y, you can integrate like 4y plus here 2 sine y. The integration of 2 sine y means minus 2 cos y, right? Sine y ge integration eka minus cos y, right? You can, I think you can remember these main integration rules. And so the 4y minus 2 cos y is the integration of this function, right? Then you have to substitute the limits here. The limit is lower limit is minus 5 and upper limit is 5. So you can substitute these 5 and minus 5 values. First you have to substitute 5 values and minus, then you have to substitute 5 to this expression. Like that you can end up with this answer 8 5, right? Then we will go for the next question. Part 2, you have to integrate x minus y with respect to x first, and after that you have to integrate with respect to y. The limits are given like this, right? Then we will go to the, sorry. Here also you have, there are this function is in terms of x and y. So first you have to integrate with respect to x, right? So when you are integrating x, it will give x squared over 2, right? Then minus y. Here there's a power of x terms here. It is x to the power 0. That means 1. අපි 1 කියන්නේ x to the power 0 නේ. x වල බිඳුව බලය. ඒක එහෙම හිතලානේ අපි ඉන්ටිග්‍රේෂන් එක කරන්නේ නේ. So the integration of minus y gives you xy. So the limits for x coordinate, x variable is y and y squared. So you have to substitute these limits for this function, right? So I think you all have learned this substitution of limits here. First you have to substitute y squared for this function, for this expression, and minus, then you have to substitute y for this expression. That's a method for substituting limits for an integration function. And after simplifying this expression, you can end up with this expression. That means y to the power 4 over 2 minus y cube plus y squared over 2. So this now the your expression is in terms of y only, and you have to differentiate this integrate this function with respect to y. Then you can positive, there is a half here, 1 over 2 here, then y to the power 4 is the variable. So when you are integrating this one, it gives you y to the power 5 over 5. So with the with the number in the numerator here, it gives you 10, right? 2 into 5, it gives you 10. And here you have y cube. Then the integration function become y to the power 4 over 4. And here y squared over 2. Here half is remain same here because it is a constant term. And y to the power, it gives you y to the power 3. And here 2 into 3 minus, it gives you 6. Then here you have to substitute the limits minus 1 and plus 1. When you are substituting these limits for this integration function, then you can end up with the result 2 over 10. It gives, that means 0.5. Right? Then there is a message. Some of the students asked to record the tutorial. Okay, I will record it and share with you, right? How to record, right. Right. Then we will go for the second question. The second question is calculate the volume under the surface. The surface function is given for you as z equals 3 plus x minus 2y over the region D defined by x goes from 0 to 1 and y goes from minus x to plus x, right? So in your lecture also you have learned we can find area or volume by the double integration, right? So this is the application of this integration. Show you the answers here. Oh no, sorry. So here this is the z function. That means I think since you have learned all the theoretical things, I think you can imagine the 3D image for this, right? So z is the surface function, and the D, that means the region in the bottom, is given like the y goes from minus x to plus x and x goes from 0 to 1. So here they didn't mention integrate with respect to some variable first. අපිට කියලා නෑ මේකේ x වලින්ද y වලින්ද මුලින්ම අවකලනය කරන්න ඕනි කියලා. It is as you wish, right? ඔයගලන්ට කැමති විදියකට ඒක ගන්න පුළුවන්. But when you are selecting this dy dx or dx dy, please concern about the limits here. Right? These inner limits belongs to inner variable dy, and this outside limit is belongs to this outside variable dx, right? So the surface function is 3 plus x squared minus 2y. So I choose to integrate dy dx. That means first integrate with respect to y first, and after that integrate with respect to x, right? Then when you are integrating this function with respect to y, you can get like 3y plus x squared y minus 2y squared over 2. Then you can cancel out these 2 also, right? When you are simplifying this case. Then what is the limit for this y? that means x and minus x. That means you have to substitute x for every y here, right? And minus, substitute minus x for every y here. That's a simplification concept of this integration, substituting the integration, right? I think these things are you all these things, you know, all these basic rules of integration. And when you are simplifying this limit, and you can end up with this result, 6x plus x to the power 3. So you have to integrate this whole expression with respect to x, right? You can see the expression also in terms of x only. So you can easily integrate with respect to x. Then 6x squared over 2 plus x to the power 4 over 2. It is the integration step, and you have to substitute the limits for this function 0 to 1. So when you are applying these 1 and 0 for this case, you can end up with 13 over 4. It equals to 3.25, right? Here you need not no need to write these things because I will share this PowerPoint slide among you, right? Then we will go for the next one. Right.
Miss අරගෙන
Here
units දාන්න ඕනේ නැද්ද?
units දැමීම අත්‍යවශ්‍ය නැහැ. Units කියන්නේ එක මොකක් හරි වර්ග ඝන සෙන්ටිමීටර් හරි එහෙම වොලියුම් එකක් නම් ඒ විදිහට නේද අහන්නේ?
ඔව්.
ඔව් එහෙම අත්‍යවශ්‍ය නැහැ සමිත්.
මිස් දැන් හරි.
So in the third question, you have given a surface function as 7x squared plus 14y. Then the region is given as this region is bounded by three equations, three functions. The first function is x equals 2y squared, and the second function is x equals 8, and the remaining function is x-axis. So you have to imagine what's the bottom region of this cube, right? මේ මොකක් හරි ඝන වස්තුවක හරි මොකක් හරි දීලා තියෙන ඔබ්ජෙක්ට් එකේ ඔයගලන්ට ඉමේජින් කරගන්න පුළුවන් කොහොමද මේක තියෙන්නේ කියලා නේ. So I will give you the bottom picture image of this question here. Remember that because in your answer slides you don't have the question, so you have to remember that the surface function is 2 plus 14y, right? So the dx and dy is given in terms of dA. You can use dx or dx dy or dy dx instead of dA, right? Then in the first part you have to integrate with respect to x first and then y. And the second part you have to integrate with respect to y first and then x. Then when you are simplifying these two results for part 1 and part 2, the answer should be same, right? ඔගොල්ලෝ integration එක පළවෙනි with respect to x මුලින් කළත් y මුලින් කළත් ඒ දෙකෙන්ම එන answer එක සමාන වෙන්න ඕනේ, right? So you can verify your solution also, verify your calculation also by this method, right? Then we will go for the answer, right? You can see the in the question you have this is the bottom image of this cube, right? So you have given that the function the bound this area, this shaded area bounded by the function x equals 2y squared, y equals x over 2 square root of x over 2. අපිට මේ විදිහට ලියන්නත් පුළුවන්. ඇයි අපි එහෙම ලියන්නේ? අපිට මෙතන තියෙන x උක්ත කරලා ලියන විදිහ තමයි x equals 2y squared මේ function එක. The blue color function can be written as both ways because here we subject the x and here we subject the y. Right? This is the difference. This is the same equation, right? And the other line is, other function is 8. Here the green color line gives you x equals 8 line. And the x-axis means this one. Right? It is y equals 0 line. So this shaded area is bounded by x equals 2y squared, x equals 8, and the y equals 0 line. So when you are integrating with respect to x first, you have to how we get this idea, get this point. කොහොමද අපි මේක x දැන් මෙහෙම අපිට දීලා නැත්නම් කොහොමද x ද මුලින් y ද කියලා සහ limits ගැන අපිට දීලා තියෙන්නේ මේ bounded area එක විතරයි. අපි තමයි here we have to set the limits. අපි තමයි මේකේ limits මොනවද කියලා දෙන්න ඕනේ. Right? Like in this type of question, when you are integrating with respect to x first, you have to draw a parallel line for the x-axis. අපිට තියෙන්නේ x විෂයෙන් මුලින් අනුකලනය කරන්න නම් ඔයගොල්ලෝ x ට සමාන්තරව මේ විදිහට රේඛාවක් ඇඳ ගන්නවා. මම හිතන්නේ මේ මෙතඩ් එක මැඩම්නුත් කරලා ඇති. ඔයගොල්ලෝ දන්නවත් ඇති. සමහරක් විට දන්නේ නැතුවත් ඇති. ඒක නිසා මම විස්තර කරනවා. ඔයගොල්ලෝ කිසිම දෙයක් දන්නේ නැහැ කියලා හිතාගෙන තමයි මම විස්තර කරන්නේ. Right? So sorry for that. So when you are asked to integrate with respect to x first you have to draw a line parallel to the x-axis, right? Positive x-axis. It goes from positive side. මේ විදිහට ධන පැත්තට යන විදිහට අපි x-axis එකට සමාන්තරව රේඛාවක් අඳගන්නවා. So then you can see this line enter to this region here, and the region is finished at this point. So you can see when this red line enter the region, which function cross it? It cross x equals 2y squared function. No, here you have to limits ඔයගලන්ට මෙතන දාන්න කියලා තියෙන්නේ. So first you have to integrate with respect to x. So these inner limits are x limits. So you have to subject your x term here, right? Then what's the ending point of this region? Means when this red line passes through this ending point, which function cross? One function the cross x equals 8. So your limit is x equals 8 here. And then you have already know that how we set the inner limit. Then how we set the outer limit? That means y limit here. As the y limit, you have in a lower y limit, you have to get the lower value, which lower value of this region. Lower y value. Lower y value shaded region එකේ lower y value එක මොකද්ද? 0. And what's the highest y value? It is 2. Right? So this is the outer limit. The lower y value is the lower limit, and the highest y value is the upper limit of y. Right? You got it? Okay, so we can, after the integrating, we have to set this in limits and the integration dx over dy or dy over dx. So we will integrate this first, and after that we will made another expression for integrating with respect to y first, right? අපි දැන් මේක integrate කරලා ඉවර කරමු. ඊට පස්සේ අපි integration y integrate කරන විදිහට මුලින් expression එක ගොඩනගමු, right? Then when you are so remember that this is your integrating function 7x squared plus 14y. First you have to integrate with respect to x and set these limits, substitute these limits, this function, right? So when you are integrating this 7 x squared plus 14y term, you can get 7x cubed over 3 and 14yx, right? So you have to substitute these lower limit 2y squared for this and as upper limit 8 here, right? Then when you are substituting these two limits for this function, you have end up with this result, right? 3584 over 3 plus 111, 112y minus 56y to the power 6 over 3 minus 628y over 3. So this expression is in terms of y only. Then you have to integrate this expression in terms of with respect to y. And you have to substitute the outer limit, that means 0 to 2 here, right? So when you are integrating this expression with respect to y, here you can get the result as 3500. This numerical value is remain constant because it is a constant. Then you have the integrating step is you have to use y here because there are no the power of y variable is 0 here. Then here 112 is the constant value. Then when you are integrating with y with respect to y, it gives you y squared over 2. And here 56 over 3 is the constant value, so you can keep it constant. And when you are integrating y to the power 6, the integration gives you y to the power 7 over 7. Then 28 is constant value. Then y to the power 3, when you are integrating y to the power 3, you get y to the power 4 over 4. Then when you are integrating these limits, first you have to substitute 2 with instead of y here and minus. Then you have to substitute 0 here. No need to integrate 0 because there are in every term you have y value, so it gives you 0. Then you have only substitute this 2 only, right? So when you are substitute 2 for every y here, then you have get the result like 7168 over 3 plus 224 minus 124 over 3 minus 112. Then you can get the answer as 2160, right? Okay, then we will go for the next one. Here we integrate with respect to x first. Then we will go for the next method. That means we have to integrate with respect to y first. So how we get the results here? You have our bounded region is same, but the difference is first here we have to integrate with respect to y first. When you are integrating with respect to y first, you have to draw a parallel line to the y axis. අපේ y axis එකට parallel line එකක් තමයි අපි මේ විදිහට අඳින්නේ. Remember that the positive side of y axis, positive direction, right? Y ගේ positive direction යන විදිහට තමයි අපි මේ arrow එක අඳින්නේ, right? So when you are drawing this arrow, when you are entering this shaded region, which line cross first? By this red line. මේ red arrow එකෙන් මේ region එකට ඇතුල් වෙද්දි x axis එක. That means y equals 0 line. So here the lower limit of y is 0. Then when you are get out from this shaded area, which function cross here? You cross x equals 2y squared function. But here we use y limits, no, upper y limit. So you have to subject your y in this function. තමයි අපි මේකේ y subject කරන්නේ. Right? So this blue color function can be written as x equals 2y squared or y equals x square root of x over 2. Right? මේ ක්‍රම දෙකටම මේ blue color එක ලියත හැකි. Here, since we have to find the y limits, you have to subject y coordinate here. Right? So your y limit is, upper y limit is square root of x over 2. That means this function. Right? Then when you are fixing this inner function, the outer function is very simple. Because for outer function, we use the lowest and highest value of the region. What's the lowest x value of this shaded region? Lowest x value is 0. Right? Then what is the highest x value of this region? It is 8. So your x values or x limits are 0 and 8. Right? Is it clear? ප්‍රශ්න මොනක්වත් තියෙනවද? Then we will go for the integration and calculation. Right? Okay. Then you can see here, you have to, the surface function is same. When you are changing the order of integration question, the function is remain constant. Function එකේ කිසිම වෙනසක් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඔගොල්ලෝ dy dx වෙනස් කරද්දි වෙනස් වෙන්නේ limits විතරයි. Right? You have to change only the limits, not the function. Right? So this 7x squared plus 14y remain constant. Here you have to integrate first with respect to y. Right? Then we'll see when you are integrating this function with respect to y first, you have get the result as 7x squared y plus 14y squared over 2. Then you have limit of x, square root of x over 2 first and minus, then you have to substitute 0 to the y, every y here. Right? You substitute these two limits for every y here. There is a y term here and here. After substituting these limits for this expression, you have end up with this result, right? There is a intermediate simplification here. You have to, after this tutorial, you have to do these questions again without seeing these answers, right? Then you can ඔයගලන්ට හිර වෙන තැන් ස්ටක් වෙන්නේ කොයි තැන්වලද කියලා ඔයගලන්ට එතකොට හොයාගන්න පුළුවන්. Right? So නැත්නම් answer දැන් actually ඔයගලන්ට හරිම ලේසියිනේ දැන් මේක බලාගෙන ඉන්න විතරක් තිය ලියන්න මොකුත් නැහැ. එතකොට ඇත්තටම boring වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. මේවා ඔයගොල්ලෝ expert නම් boring වෙන්නත් පුළුවන් tutorial එක. ඊට පස්සේ ඔයගොල්ලෝ මේක answer script එක බලන්න නැතුව හදලා බලන්න. එතකොට මොනවා හරි ප්‍රශ්න එනවා නම් තමයි ඔයගොල්ලෝ එතන ආයෙත් මේ answers බලලා හදන්න ඕනේ. Right? Okay. Then this expression is come after the substituting these limits. Then this expression is in terms of x only. Then you have to integrate with respect to x, then it gives you square root 2 when you are here 7 over square root 2 is constant term. You have to pay your attention for this x to the power 5 over 2 only. Right? Then when you are integrating x equals 5 over 2, it gives you x to the power 7 over 2 over 7 over 2. Right? Then when you are simplifying this one, you can get this result. Right? So there is a intermediate calculations here. Right? මම ඒ intermediate calculations මෙතන කරලා නැහැ. ඔයගලන්ට අන්තිමට එන answer එක තමයි දාලා තියෙන්නේ. Right? Then plus here 7 over 2 is a constant term. You have to integrate this x here. It gives you x to the power 2 over 2. Then it gives you 7x squared over 4 here. Then after that, you have to integrate, substitute these two here. When you substitute 8 for every x here and minus, you have to substitute 0. No need to substitute 0 because it gives you the 0 on it. So you substitute 8 here, then you have get 2048 plus 112. Then it gives you the answer 2160. So you can see our previous answer is also same as the this answer, right? That means no difference between the answers by answers between these two methods. මේ methods එකේ answer එක එකමයි එන්නේ. අර calculation එක වෙනස් වෙන එක විතරයි වෙන්නේ limits මත. Right? Okay, we will go for the next question. It is also this question. Here the surface region is given as x minus 2y, right? So the bottom surface is given angular region bounded by x equals 0, y equals 0, and the line x plus y equals 1. First, you have to sketch the region and integrate the surface function with respect to y first, and after that you have to integrate with respect to x first, right? So we will go to the answers here. You can see the boundary given by the function x equals 0. X equals 0 means y-axis, and y equals 0. Y equals 0 means x-axis, and this is the line x plus y plus 1. So we can write this equation in both ways. Y equals 1 minus x, or x equals 1 minus y. So you know the reason why we represent this equation in both ways, right? So when you are integrating with respect to x first, you have to, what the thing you have to do here? You have to draw a parallel line to the x-axis to the positive direction, right? So when you are entering this shaded region by red arrow, which line you cross first? You cross this y-axis. That means x equals 0 line, right? So your lower limit of x is 0. Then when you are go outside from this shaded region, which line you cross? You cross this blue line, no? Blue function. So what's the equation of this function? Here you have to subject x here, because we find the x limits. අපි හොයන්නේ x limits නිසා ඔගොල්ලෝ මේ equation එක ඔයගලන්ට කොහොම දුන්නත් you have to subject your x here, right? So your x limit gives you 1 minus y, right? Then I told you earlier also, before after setting this limits, the outside limit 0 1 is very easy, because outside limit is the lowest y value of this shaded region. What's the lowest y value? It gives you 0. And the highest y value of this shaded region, it is 1, because this function crosses the y-axis at 1. So your limit becomes 0 to 1. Right? Then we will go for the calculation of integration. Then, so you have to do now, integrate this x minus 2y with respect to x first and do your calculation. So when you are integrating your function x minus 2y with respect to x, you have got the results like x to the power 2 over 2 minus 2xy. Then you have to substitute your limits here, 1 minus y, 0. And when you are substituting these limits, you can end up with this expression, 5y to the power 2 over 2 minus 3y plus half. Then this expression is in terms of y only. Then you have to integrate this in terms of y. Then when you are integrating, 5 over 2 is constant, remain constant, and y to the power 3 over 3. And here 3 is constant and y squared over 2 is the integration function. And here half is constant and there is a y to the power 0 term, then it gives you y. Then when you are after integrating this term, you can substitute these two limits here. Right? Then you can end up with this result as minus 1 over 6. Right? Then we will see what's how we integrate to y first, the same one, right? I think you have no questions. If you have any question at that moment, please unmute yourself and talk with me. There is no issue, right? ඕනි වෙලාවක ඔයගොල්ලෝ unmute කරලා කතා කරන්න, right? ඔයගොල්ලන්ට මොකක් හරි අපහැදිලි තැනක් තියෙනවා. Then the function is same, you know, x minus 2y. Then when you are integrate, yes.
අර කලින් මේ graph එකේ මැඩම් මේ අර උඩ මේ එක තිබ්බේ නැහැනේ මේ y axis
Here මේක නේද පූර්ණිම?
එතන එක කියලා ගන්න.
Yeah, when here you know the equation is x plus y plus 1, x plus y equals 1, right? So when you it touches the x y axis, mean the x, what's the x value? X is 0. So when you are substituting x as x equals 0 here, you can get the y value as 1, right?
Thank you, madam.
Hari. Right. So when you have to integrate with respect to y here, what should you do? You have to draw a arrow to the parallel to the y axis, to the positive y direction, right? මේ පැත්තට අපි ඊතලයක් අඳිනවා y ට parallel. So in which point this red arrow crosses this shaded area. දැන් මේ arrow එක එන්නේ මෙහෙ ඉඳන්නේ, යට ඉඳන්නේ එන්නේ. That's why we told that this arrow should be to the positive direction. So when you draw this line, what equation, what function which crosses first? මේ shaded area එකට අපි ඇතුළු වෙද්දී අපි මුලින්ම cross කරන්නේ මොන line එකද? අපි මුලින්ම cross කරන්නේ y equals 0 line එක. Right? So when you are setting limits for y here, because the inner you have to first integrate first with respect to y. So first you have to set these y limits. So for every limit you have to subject your y, right? So when you go outside from this shaded region, which line you cross? You cross y equals 1 minus x line. Here you have you can write this you can write this y function like y equals 1 minus x, 1 minus y, right? So since we want to find the y limits, you have to subject this y. So your function is y equals 1 minus x. So your upper limit becomes 1 minus x here, right? So after fixing this inner limits, it is easy to fix the outside limit. So what's the outside limits for x? That means what's the lowest x value for lowest x value of this shaded region. So lowest x value of this shaded region is 0, right? This is the 0 line. And this is the 0. And what's the highest x value of this shaded region? Highest x value එක වෙන්නේ 1, right? So this is reason that you have set this 0 and 1 limit, right? Then integrate, then we will go for the integration calculation. Here you have to integrate x minus 2y first with respect to y, right? Then when you can get the results as xy minus 2y squared over 2. Sometimes you may little bit difficult with handling this tutorial because I can't include all the things in this slide, right? So if you have any question after the tutorial also, right, you can send me any question, right? මේ මට මේ slide එකේ ඔක්කොම දාන්න බැරි නිසා අර board එකේ වගේ ඔක්කොම ලියන්න බෑ. ඒක නිසා පොඩි difficulty එකක් තියෙන්න පුළුවන් ඔයගලන්ට මේක තේරුම් ගනිද්දි. පස්සේ බලද්දි උනත් එතකොට පොඩක් මොන හරි ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවා නම් අහන්න, right? So when you are substituting two limits for this function, you can end up with this result, right? I think with substituting limits, you have no any question, right? මේ limit substitute කරන එක integration වල මං හිතනවා ප්‍රශ්නයක් නෑ කියලා. right? මොකද upper limit එක මුලින්ම ආදේශ කරනවා minus ඊළඟට lower limit එක ආදේශ කරනවා. ඒක තමයි concept එක, right? So when you end up with this result, you have to integrate with respect to x now. So minus 2 is a constant term, it remains constant. And when you integrate x squared, you end up with x to the power 3 over 3. And 3 is constant here, positive 3 plus 3. And x, when you are integrating x, you have end up with x squared over 2. And here minus 1 is a constant term. And it gives you minus x. So you have to substitute these 1 and 0 limits for this function. Then you can end up with the result minus 1 over 6. Right? Then you can see the previous answer also same. 1 over 6 mai api kalen ake awe answer එක, right? So yeah, we will go for the next one, next question. Question 5. Change the order of following double integrals, right? Here, no need to worry about the function here because the function is not relates to change in the order, right? මේ functions ගැන worry වෙන්න එපා. e to the y squared අපි මේක integration term එක කරන්නේ නැහැ. අපි කරන්නේ order එක change කරන එක විතරයි, right? So first part given some function dy over dx, the limits are also given. So here you have to change this order as dx dy, right? So we will go for the answers. Now I represent this function e to the power y squared or anything, whatever it is. So I give this function dx, and the limits also given as x1 and 0 1. Here I represent these things to explain you very well, right? මේක ඔයගලන්ට හොඳට තේරුම් කරන්න තමයි මම මේ y equals කියන එක දාලා තියෙන්නේ, because you know when you are integrating with to y first, inner limits are equals to y. So y equals 1 and y equals 1, y equals x and y equals 1. So outside limits are relates to dx. So it is x equals 0 and x equals 1, right? So when you have such type of question, first think about this inner inner integration, right? Don't think about what are the other integrations, x equals 0, x equals 1. No need to think about these things. First you have to think about this inner integration. So in inner integration, what are the functions here? First you have to draw these two functions. What is the function? Y equals x and y equals y, 1, right? When you are draw this y equals x line, you have a basic knowledge of functions for this case, right? ඔයගොල්ලෝ දන්නවා y equals x line එක කියන්නේ මූල ලක්ෂ්‍ය හරහා යන සරල රේඛාවක්, right? So y equals x is a straight line which goes through the origin, right? So what's the other function? Y equals 1. So you have to draw this function also. This is y equals 1. Then what is the bounded region? මොකද්ද මේකේ region එක කියලා අපිට තෝරගන්න ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙනවා. දැන් මොකද මේකේ regions දෙකක් තියෙනවා. මේ triangles, you can see two triangles. Then you have confused it. What is the right area? This upper triangle or lower triangle, right? So for this case, we have to use this parallel arrow method. Here you with respect to y, here we are dealing with integration with y. So which arrow which should be draw? We have to draw a parallel arrow for y axis, right? Sorry, like this, right? Now you can see the limits are goes from y equals x to y equals 1. Now, so you can mark these 2 points like this, right? Crosses when you are like this, right? When you are coming to this region, which line cross this region first, and that means your limits are y equals x and y equals 1. These are the lines that you cross the according to your limits. ඔයගලන්ට දීලා තියෙන limits අනුව මේ points දෙකනේ. දැන් අපි මේ region එක වුණා නම් එන්නේ මොකද මේ එක? y equals 0 and y equals x. එහෙම තිබුණා නම් මෙන්න මේ points දෙක තමයි මුලින්ම ඡේදනය වෙන්නේ. So you can have an idea about the shaded region. What's the shaded region here? This is the shaded region, right? එතකොට මේ lower triangle එක නෙමෙයි upper triangle එක කියලා කියන්න අපි ඒක හිතාගන්නේ ඒ විදිහට, right? Because it goes from y equals x to y equals 1. එතකොට ඔයගොල්ලෝ ඒ දෙක තමයි මේ dot දෙකකින් ලකුණු කරගත්තේ, right? So ඒ දෙක අතර තියෙන region එක තමයි bounded region එක වෙන්නේ, shaded region එක වෙන්නේ, right? So when you are fixing this x, that you know we got the highest x value and lowest x value of this shaded region. You can see when you have this when you see this when you are considering this shaded region, the lowest x value is 0 and the highest x value is 1, right? Here also you can verify this one by using a straight line, using a parallel arrow to the x-axis. Then you can see it crosses the x equals 0 line first, and then it no, when you are considering this, sorry, when you are considering this outside limit, you only have to check whether it is what's the lowest x value and lowest x value. You can see here x equals 0 is the lowest x value and x equals 1 is the highest x value. That's why we use this upper limit, right? Then when here we now we clarify that how we clarify that what is the shaded region. දැන් අපිට මේ දීලා තියෙන එකෙන් අපිට හොයාගන්න පුළුවන් දේ තමයි shaded region එක මොකක්ද කියලා. Right? Then we have to change this order. We have to change this order as dx dy. I'm sorry, here I have to dx, right? Right. Then you find the shaded region. Then you have to change this order as dx dy. Then your inner integration is in terms of x, because it is you have to integrate with respect to x first. So for this case, you have to draw a line, draw an arrow to the parallel to the x-axis, right? So this is the arrow which is parallel to the x-axis, right? So when you are considering this shaded region, now no issue to verify a shaded region, because you have already know the shaded region. What is the x limits for this case? That means when you are entering this shaded region from left side to right side, that means positive x side, which line do you cross first? මොන line එකද ඔයගොල්ලෝ මුලින්ම cross කරන්නේ? මේ y axis එක නේද? So y axis can be written as x equals 0. So your first lower x limit is x equals 0. Then when you go outside from this shaded region, you cross here. You cross this purple line. No, it is y equals x, or you can write it as x equals y. So since here we used to write this here we integrate with respect to x. That means you have to subject your x here. In this line, you have to subject your x. Here, x means it is same, x equals y, right? Then what is the, then we have already fixed this inner limits. Then go for the outside limit. Outside limits means when you are integrating with respect to y, you have to get your lower limit as the lowest y value of this shaded region. What is the lowest y value? Lowest y value is 0. And what is your highest x y value? Highest x y value means it is 1, because this is a y equals 1 region, right? Got it? This is a method that you have used to change the order, right? මොනවා හරි අපහැදිලි තැනක් තියනවද? Or we will go for the next one.
Miss limit change කරනවා කියන්නේ තෝකමද?
Change in the order. Yeah, limits change integration වලනේ අහන්නේ නේද? Oh. limits change කරනවා කියන්නේ order එක change කරනවා කියන්නේ මේ දෙකම එකයි. මොකද මේ dx dy වෙනස් කරනවා කියන්නේ limits වෙනස් වෙනවා කියන එක. Right?
හරි වෙනවා හරි.
Then we will go for the next one. Here, don't confuse with this y equals x and y equals 1, right? I use this notation for clarify you very well. මම ඔයගලන්ට විස්තර කරන්න ලේසි වෙන තමයි මේ y equals 1 and y equals x දාන්නේ. right? මොකද ඔයගොල්ලෝ නිකන් ලියනකොට මෙතන ලියන්නේ නැහැ y equals x කියලා. ඔයගොල්ලෝ දාන්නේ x උයි 1යි විතරයි. right? මෙතන දාන්නේ බිඳුවයි 1යි විතරයි. මට මේක clarify කරන්න ඕනි නිසා තමයි මේ ඉන්න limit එකයි කොහොමද එන්නේ කියලා මම මේකේ දැම්මේ. right? දැන් ඉන්න limit එක y නේ මෙතන first අපි integrate කරන්නේ y වලින්. ඒකට අදාළ අනුකලන මාර්ක් එක තමයි මේක. ඒත් එක්ක තියෙන limits දෙක තමයි ඒ limit සමාන වෙන්නේ y ට. මොකද අපි substitute කරනකොටත් ඒක substitute කරන්නේ y ට නේ. ඒ නිසා තමයි මෙතන මම y equals කියලා මේ දාලා තියෙන්නේ ඔයගලන්ට මේ විස්තර කරන්න පහසු වෙන්න. හරිද? නැතුව ගානක් හදද්දි මෙහෙම x equals 0 එහෙම කියලා දාන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. මෙතන 0y දැම්ම 0 1 දැම්ම. එච්චරයි. right? okay, we will go for the next question. It is same question. You have to change the order of this one. Don't think about this x cube e to the power y cube this thing, because we are not integrating this we are the integration calculation. We just change the order only. අපි මේකේ order එක change කරනවා විතරයි. දැන් මෙතන ඔයගලන්ට මේ normally 1 දීලා තියෙන්නේ x වර්ගයයි 9යි. එතකොට ඔයගොල්ලෝ දැනගන්න ඕනේ මෙතන y නම් මුලින් දීලා තියෙන්නේ ඉන integration එක තමයි මේ දෙන්නේ. y equals x squared කියන එක. y equals 9. මේ 0 3 කියන්නේ x ට අදාළ limit එක. එහෙනම් x සමානයි 0යි x සමානයි 3යි. ඒක තමයි මම රත්න අර විදිහේ ලියලා තියෙන්නේ. right? So don't confuse with it. right? okay, we will go for the answer. Here you can, this is the question you have. If I use fxy as the functions because we are not doing the integration here. Here you have given dy dx, right? So for as the answer you have to represent it as dx dy, right? Now consider this given function, right? It gives you integrating with respect to y first. That means you can denote your limits as this: y equals x squared and y equals 9. This is inner limit. It linked with this dy. Then outside the limit dx is linked with this one. Outside integration mark. Then it is equals to x equals 0 and x equals 3. Now you have to find the shaded region, right? So how we find the shaded region? You have to graph these two functions, right? Here you have given very simple graph. y equals x squared graph එක ඔයගොල්ලෝ දන්නවා. y equals 9 graph එක ඔයගොල්ලෝ දන්නවා. right? ඒ වගේ simple functions දෙකක් තමයි මෙතන හම්බ වෙන්නේ ඔයගොල්ලන්ට. right? So first draw the y equals x square graph. This is the y equals x square graph. You can write it as x equals square root of y also. ඒක ඒ විදිහටත් මේ purple color න පුළුවන්. right? ඒක තේරුණාද? Then you have to draw y equals 9 here. What's the y equals 9 line? This is the y equals 9 line. It crossed the 9 here in y axis, right? මේ කොළ පාටින් මම පෙන්නලා තියෙන y equals 9 line එක. Then ඔයගලන් තියෙන ප්‍රශ්නයක් තමයි මෙතන මේ parts දෙකක් තියෙනවා. නේ? region එක කොයිකද කියලා හොයාගන්න බැරි කම තමයි තියෙන ප්‍රශ්නේ ඊළඟට. එතකොට මේ දෙක ඇඳලා පස්සේ then you have to draw a line, positive line. Here I denote it in red color. Positive to the positive direction, to draw a arrow parallel to the y-axis. Because why we draw this line to parallel to the y-axis? Because we integrate y first, right? Then when then you have given that your limit is y equals x squared to y equals 9. Then what are the limits here? Y equals x squared means this one, this point. You can see this red color points, 2 points, right? Then your limit goes from y equals x squared to y equals 9, right? So what is the shaded region? Shaded region is the area in between these two red color points, right? This is the shaded region, right? ඔගලන්ට මේ inner limit එකෙන් දීලා තියෙන function එකේ inner limit එකෙන් region shaded region එක හොයාගන්න පුළුවන්. ඒක පළවෙනියෙන් කරලා ඉන්න ඕනේ. You have to do it first. Then you can see your outside limit as x equals 0 to x equals 3. Now here you can see this is the y equals x squared line. It crosses at the y equals 1 line here. Then you know the y value of this coordinate is 9. So you can get this 3 as, because you know the function here, y equals x squared. So you can see the x coordinate of this point is 3, right? I think it is clear for you. So by this, when you are considering this shaded region, you can see the lowest x value is 0 and the highest x value is 3, right? This is the limit of this function. ඒක ඔබට හිතුවේ නැති වුණත් කමන්නේ. You have to concern about the inner integration function of your given equation, right? ඔයගලන්ට දීලා තියෙන function එකේ inner integration එක සැලකුවට ඔයගලන්ට මෙන්න මෙතෙන්ට එනකම් ප්‍රශ්නේ හදාගන්න පුළුවන්. Then you have to change the order. ඊට පස්සේ තමයි අපි ගානට යන්නේ. මොකද අපි shaded region එක හොයාගන්න එක තමයි මුලින්ම කරන්න ඕනේ දේ. Then you have to change the order like dx dy. That means your inner integration is you have to integrate with respect to x first. So what should we do for finding these two limits? අපි දැන් මේ limits දෙක දන්නේ නැහැ. හරිද? මම මෙතන දැන් දාලා තිබ්බට අපි ඒක දන්නේ නැතුවනේ ඉන්නේ දැන් මෙතන dx dy විතරයි අපි දන්නේ. fx මේ අනුකලන මාක්ස් දෙක විතරයි, integration marks දෙක විතරයි අපි දන්නේ. හරිද? අපි මේ limits දෙක දන්නේ නැහැ. So you know that this function is integrated with respect to x first. So you have to draw an arrow parallel to the x-axis like this, right? So you can see each line cross this shaded area by this yellow color arrow. මොන තැන් දෙකෙන්ද shaded region එකට මේ arrow එක ඇතුල් වෙන්නේ සහ පිට වෙන්නේ. හරිද? දැන් මේකයි හැමතිස්සෙම මේ positive direction එකට මේ arrow එක ගන්න ඕනි කියන්නේ. Right? So when you are entering the shaded region by this red color arrow, you cross the y-axis first, right? Then when you are going outside this shaded region, you cross this purple color function, right? You know these 2 points, right? Now you can see I denoted these 2 points by yellow color dots, right? So according to this dot, what's the function of this line? It is 0, right? So your lower limit of this one is x equals 0. Then think about the other dot, this yellow color, this dot. What's the function did it cross here? ඒක cross කරලා තියෙන line එක මොකද්ද? මේ purple color line එක නේ. So you can write it as y equals x squared, but here we have to find the x limits. So you have to subject your x here. That means x equals square root of y. So your x limit becomes x equals x square root of y. Right? Then when you are considering the outside limits according to y, that means lower limit of this y is the lowest y value of your shaded region. What's the lowest y value? It is 0. And to the upper limit, we use the highest value of the shaded region. මේ shaded region එකේ highest y value එක මොකද්ද? 9. That's the thing we used here. Right? Clear the ඒ විදිහට තමයි change of orders අපි කරන්නේ. Right? ඔගොල්ලෝ මේක තනියම හිතලා කරන්න. මම දැන් විස්තර කළා බොහොම අමාරුවෙන් PowerPoint එකත් හදාගත්තා. මේ ඒක නිසා ඔයගොල්ලෝ තේරුම් ගන්න උත්සාහ කරන්න. මේ Okay, we will go for the next part. It is same as this, but don't think about the function here, square root of x to the power 4 plus 1. No need to think about this. Then here you have to first integrate with respect to x, and after that you have given dx dy function. You have to change the order dy dx, right? So we will go for the answer script. Right. You can see here your function. I write this your function as fx dx dy. Then you know your given function is given in terms of dx dy. By your given function, what should you identify? මොකක්ද ඔයගොල්ලෝ given function එකේ identify කරගන්න ඕනේ. Change order එක change කරද්දී. ඔයගොල්ලෝ shaded area එක හොයන එක තමයි ඒ දීලා තියෙන function එකෙන් කරන්නේ. Right? So when you are finding the shaded region, you can see here you integrate with respect to x first. So inner limits are equals to x to the power y over y to the power 1 over 3 and x equals 2. So here you have to draw x equals 1 over y to the power 1 over 3 line. It is like this. It is same as the x squared graph because there are very few differences. So we can write this purple color function as x to the power x equals y to the power 1 over 3, or you can write it as y equals x cube also, right? මේක තුනෙන් වැඩි ගණයක් ගත්තහම ඔයගලන්ට මේක එන්නේ y equals x cube. හරිද? ඒක තේරෙනවා කියලා මම හිතනවා, right? මේ ෆන්ක්ෂන් එක ලියන්න පුළුවන් ක්‍රම දෙක. එකක් y subject කරලා y යුක්ත කරලා අනිත් එක x යුක්ත කරලා. ඒකයි කරලා තියෙන වෙනස්කම් ටික, right? Then go for the function x equals 2, right? X equals 2 line is the green color line. Then when you can see that when you cross this point x equals 2 line by this purple color line, what's the y coordinate here? It is 8, because you know the x value is 2, then y coordinate is 2 to the power 3. It gives you y equals 8, right? So you have two regions. That means upper region, this up to the upper region of this purple color function, and below region of this purple color function. We don't know what is the shaded region exactly, right? So for this one, you have to use this parallel arrow method, right? That means when you are here, you integrate x first. So you have to draw a parallel arrow for the x-axis like this, right? මෙහෙම x-axis එකට parallel line එකක් අඳිනවා. So you know your integration limits, x limits goes from x equals y to the power 1 over 3 to x equals 2. That means x equals y to the power 3 means this one, right? It goes from x equals y to the power 3, y to the power 1 over 3 to x equals 2. You can you can denote these 2 points like these red color dots, right? මේ red color dots වලින් එක අඳුර ගන්න පුළුවන්. Then what's the shaded region now? Shaded region is the area between these two dots. You can get the shaded region like this, right? අපි කලිනුත් කිව්වා ඔයගලන්ට දීලා තියෙන සමීකරණයෙන් ඔයගලන්ට කරන්න පුළුවන් දේ තමයි shaded region එක හොයාගන්න එක. Then you can go for the question, that means change in the order. You have to change the order as dy dx, right? For this case, you have to draw a arrow to the parallel to the y-axis, because in your answer function, you have to integrate with respect to y first. So you can draw a line like this to the to the parallel to the y-axis. So which line it cross, which line, when this yellow color arrow enter to this shaded region, which line do you cross first? මොන line එකද මුලින්ම cross කරන්නේ? You cross this y equals 0 line, right? Then you can not these 2 points like that, and when you are get outside from this shaded region, you cross this purple color function, right? So what are the functions of these two lines? Y equals 0 line, it is subject the y already, ඒක නිසා අපිට ඒක එහෙමම ලියන්න පුළුවන්. Then when you are going outside this shaded region, you cross this purple color function. So what's the name of the equation of this purple color region? By subjecting y, you can write it as y equals x cube. That's the limit we use here, right? So when you are considering this outside limit according to dx, first you have to get the lowest x value of this shaded region. What is the lowest x value of this shaded x value of this shaded region? It is 0, right? Then what is the highest value of this shaded region? It is 2. Okay? So this is the reason that we use x equals 0 and x equals 2. හරිද? This is the method how we use to change the order of some integration function. හරිද? මම හිතනවා ඔයගලන්ට තේරුණා ඇති කියලා. So we will go for the next question. This is the question that this question is in your lecture note. Most of students ask me to explain this question, right? Here also you have given the bottom region. ඔයගලන්ට integration regions තමයි මේ blue color වලින් ඔයගලන්ට දීලා තියෙන්නේ. So you have to set up your double integrals to find the volumes in both dx dy and dy dx, right? So go for the answer script and explain one by one. Here you have given in the first question is very easy, because it is given a very it gives you a rectangular type region. So you can easily say your x when you are writing dx dy, that means what is the x value of this region? That means 1 to 4. Your x goes from 1 to 4 and y goes from -2 to +1. Right? This is the way that these limits come, right? When you are dealing with dy dx, first you have to use the y limits here. Y limits means y goes from -2 to +1 here. And x goes from 1 to 4 here, right? Here some students ask me why we take whole area, that means below the x-axis area එකත් අපි ගන්න ඇයි කියලා සමහර students මේකෙදි අපි ඔයගොල්ලෝ දන්නවා integration වලදී ඒක already අර ලකුණත් එක්ක calculate වෙලා එනවා. So you have to give the region of the whole area, right? මේක y x axis එකෙන් පහළ තියෙනවා කියලා මේ කොටස නොගෙන ඉන්නේ නැහැ, right? ඒක අපි දෙන්න ඕනේ y යනවා -2 වලින් ඉඳන් +1 වලට වෙනකම්. ඊළඟට 1 x එක යනවා 1 වලින් ඉඳන් 4 වෙනකම්. So these are the limits, and you have to change the limits by considering these these 4 values, right? Okay, I think it is very easy, so I will go for the next one, right? Yeah, here your bounded region is given as a triangular area. ඔයගලන්ට දීලා තියෙන්නේ ත්‍රිකෝණාකාර bounded area එකක්. Right? So it is bound. You have given that it is bounded by x equals 4. No, you have given only this triangle. No. Here you can by the question you can identify these points. No, these coordinates. ඔයගලන්ට මේ coordinates තුන අඳුර ගන්න පුළුවන් මේ triangles වල මේ ලක්ෂ තුන. Right? It is 1 1 4 1 and 4 3. It is got from the coordinates. හරිද මේ මොනවාද පරිමිතිය මොකක්ද ඒකට කියන්නේ මේ coordinates අනුව අරන් අපිට ගන්න පුළුවන් මේ තුන. හරිද මේ coordinate. Then you can see this is the y equals 1 line. ඔයගලන්ට තේරෙනවද මේක y equals 1 line එකනේ? Right? So you can see this is the x equals 4 line. It is easy. Right? So this is the problem. මේක තමයි ප්‍රශ්නේ වෙන්නේ. අපි කොහොමද මේක හොයාගන්නේ කියලා. Right? So we can get this equation 3y minus 2x minus 1 equals 0 line by using these two coordinates 4 3 and 1 1 coordinates වලින් අපිට මේ equation එක ගන්න පුළුවන්. Right? මම ඒක ගන්න විදිහ නම් මෙතන පෙන්නලා නැහැ. මම හිතනවා ඔයගලන්ට අර by using the difference of the x coordinates and y coordinates you can get this equation. Right? මම හිතන්නේ ඒක O level කාලෙත් කරන එක. You can I will explain it like this. When there is a point like xy here, then you can write it as y minus 3 over x minus 4 equals 3 minus 1 over 4 minus 1. Right? This is the equation of this, how we build this equation. Right? Now, first you have to fix your dx dy, and I will explain how to fix dy dx region. Right? Here, first concern about this dx dy case. Here, you integrate x with respect to x first. So your inner integration relates with x limits. Right? So when you are to get the x limit, you have to draw a arrow to the positive direction to the parallel to the x axis. අපි කරන්නේ ඒකනේ x axis එකට parallel line එකක් හඳිනවා. So when this arrow enter into this your bounded region, which line cross first? It crosses this 3y minus 2x minus 1 equals 0 line. Then when it goes out from this bounded region, it crosses this x equals 4 line. Right? So here you can see the limit goes from here to here. Right? X limit. So here I told you when you are applying x limit, you have to subject your x here. I did this calculation here. Your equation is 3y minus 2x minus 1. Here you have to subject your x. හරිද? ඔයගොල්ලෝ x උත්ත කරන්න ඕනේ මේ සමීකරණය. So you can write it as 2x equals 3y minus 1. Then you can get the x by dividing 2. So you can write it as half into 3y minus 1. Right? So this is lower x limit. Right? You can see in the slide, lower x limit is half into 3y minus 1. This is the equation. This is the build-up equation from your original equation. අපි ඒ original equation එකෙන් x උක්ත කරගන්න එක තමයි මෙතන කරේ. And here x value is already exactly given because this is x equals 4. So it is upper limit is x equals 4. So when you are considering the outside limit, you have to concern about the lowest and highest y values. Right? So as the lower limit, you have to get the lowest y value of your shaded region. Lowest y value එක වෙන්නේ 1. Right? Then what is the highest y value? It is 3. That's why we use y equals 1 and y equals 3. When you are ලියනකොට මේ x equals and y equals කතන්දරේ ලියන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. මෙහෙම නිකන් half into 3y minus 1 and 4 1 3 මේ තුන හතර දැම්මම ඇති. ඔයගලන්ට මේක පැහැදිලි කරන්න හින්දා තමයි මම මේ විදිහට දැම්මේ. හරිද? මම ආයෙත් එක කියනවා. Okay, then we have to write this one as the dy dx also, right? Then when you are finding the dy dx limits, that means your inner integration is with respect to y. So inner integration limits, to find the inner integration limits, you have to draw a arrow to the positive direction parallel to the y axis. Y axis එකට සමාන්තරව අපි අඳිනවා line එක. So when you are entering your bounded area by this red arrow, which line you cross first? Cross first this y equals 1 line. Then when you are going outside to this bounded region, which line you cross? You cross this 3y minus 2x minus 1 equals 0 line. So when you are applying this one, you have to subject your y here. No need to worry about this one. It is already y equals 1. Here, the limit is this line. No, here you have to subject your y. Here I do this calculation in this side. 3y minus 2x minus 1 is your limit. To subject the y here, you can calculate as 3, simplify as 3y equals 2x plus 1. Then your y can be written as 1 over 3 into 2x plus 1. So you can write your y limit as 1 over 3 into 2x plus 1. And what are the outside limits? That means x limits is the lowest x value of your bounded region. It is x equals 1. And highest x value of your bounded region, it is x equals 4. Right? This is the reason that we use this limits, outside limit. Right? Okay, go for the next one. You have given your bounded region by the function y equals x cube y x cube ද x squared ද මම අරන් තියෙන්නේ x squared කියලා x cube ද දන්නේ නැහැ මෙතන තියෙන මම හිතන්නේ ඔයගලන්ට ඒක කරගන්න පුළුවන් වෙයි ඒකට අදාළව I will explain it by considering it as y equals x squared, right? Your region is bounded by y equals 4x and y equals x squared line. So first you have to find the dx dy limits. So your inner integration is dx. To get the inner integration limits, you have to draw an arrow to the positive direction parallel to the x-axis. This is the red color line you can see here. So when you are entering this bounded region, which line you cross first? You cross this y equals 4x line. So you can see this by the side of this slide. You can see we can write this y equals 4x line as the x equals y over 4 also. අපිට y සමානයි 4යි x කියන එක මේක x උක්ත කරලා x සමානයි y බෙදීම 4යි කියලා ලියන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ වගේම ඔයගොල්ලෝ අනිත් මේ region එක, when you are going outside of this bounded region by this red arrow, you cross this y equals x squared line. So you can write this y equals x squared line as x equals y square root of y also. ඔයගොල්ලන්ට එහෙමත් ඒක ලියන්න පුළුවන් නේ x උක්ත කරලා. So since we are considering about x limits, first you have to use this limit of this x. You have to subject your x coordinate, x variable of this function. That means y equals 4x function එක x උක්ත කරාම y x equals y to the, y over 4. So your lower limit becomes y x equals y over 4. Then what's your upper limit? It becomes you have to subject the x of your function y equals x squared function, it is gives as x equals the square root of y. So your upper x limit becomes x equals the square root of y. So when you are considering the outside, you have to consider only, consider the lowest y value and highest y value. What is the lowest y value of this bounded region? It is 0, right? Then what's the highest y value of this bounded region? It is, I take this as, it is x cube, right? I will change it. Oh, sorry. It is x cube, right? X cube. So you can it is y to the power 3, then your y limits goes from y equals 8, right? Here, your when x is 2, it crosses these two lines crosses at x equals 2. At x equals 2, your y value, y coordinate is 8 here, right? Because this line is y equals x cube, right? Okay, we will go for the next one. Now we set limits for dx dy case, then we will go for dy dx case, right? That means getting with respect to y first. So first, when you are dealing with y first, you have to set y limits first. So for that case, you have to draw a positive arrow to the positive direction parallel to the y-axis, right? So when you are drawing like this arrow like this, when you are entering this bounded region by this red arrow, you cross the y equals x cube line, right? And when you are going outside this bounded region, you cross the y equals 4x line. So it is already subject y here, so no need to change the subject variable. So y equals x squared and y equals 4x. Then when you are considering the outside limit, you have to check the lowest and highest x values of the region. So when you are considering this bounded region, the lowest x value is 0 and the highest x value is 2. Here also highest x value should be 2. Sorry. I will change it. මේ ඔයගලන්ට මේකේ මේ ස්ලයිඩ් එක පෙවුනද දැන්? ඔයගලන්ට ස්ලයිඩ් එක මේකේ පෙවුනද?
ඔව් මෑඩම්.
හරි හරි. Hari. Then it is also, I think it is clear for you now. Then seventh question, last question. It is only 15 minutes. We will go for the question first. Right. This is your question, right? Oh, what's happened here? Right, this is the question. ඔයගලන්ට question එක පෙන්නනවද? Screen එක පෙන්නනවද question එක?
ස්ලයිඩ් ෂෝ එකේ එන්ඩ් වෙලා කියලා වෙන්නේ.
හරි. Sorry. Uh, uh, Here you can see you have given a double integration. I have given 3D image also. The surface function is given as z equals 6 minus 5x squared, and the plane, your bottom is bounded by x equals 0 line, y equals 2x, and y equals 2 line. So your bottom is like a triangle like this, right? So you have to find the volume of this region, right? මේ cube එකේ මේ ඝන වස්තුවේ volume එක හොයන්න තියෙනවා. So you have to use double integration and set your limits according to your knowledge, right? So we will go for the answer script. Right. Now you can see your bottom area is like this. It is goes from x equals 0 to it is bounded by x equals 0, y equals 2, and y equals 2x. So first you have to I use dx dy method case. That means first you have to integrate with respect to x. So what is the x limits here? You should set these x limits also, right? Here අපිට දීලා තියෙන bounded region එකේ මේ area එක විතරයි. ඔයගොල්ලෝ මේ limit set කරගෙන මේ ගාන හදන්න ඕනේ, right? මම හිතන්නේ ඔයගොල්ලෝ assignment එකෙත් මේ වගේ ගානක් තිබ්බා. So what's the how we get this x limit, inner limit, x limits here? You have to draw a line, parallel line to the x-axis like this, to the positive direction. Then when you are entering this bounded region, which line you first? You cross x equals 0 line. Now when you are going outside this limit by this purple color arrow, you can see you cross the y equals 2x line, but here we find the x limits, right? So you have to subject x here. When you are subject x here, it gives you x equals y over 2. So your x limit becomes y over 2. Then when you are finding the outside limit, dy y limits, so you have to check the lowest value of the lowest y value of this region, it is 0, and highest y value of this region, it is 2. That's why these two limits comes like this, right? So you have to integrate this function 6 minus 5x squared. This is the surface function. It is given like z here. 6 minus 5x squared with respect to x, so it gives you 6x minus 5 to the power x 5x cube over 3. You have to substitute these two limits here. First you have to substitute y and no need to substitute 0 because this value becomes 0. So when you are applying these two limits, you can get this result as 3y minus 5y to the power 3 over 24. Then you have to integrate this function with respect to y. Then you can get this result as 3 is constant. Then y when you are integrating y, it gives you y squared over 2, and 5 over 24 is constant. Then when you are integrating y cube, it gives you y to the power 4 over 4. So when you your 4 constant here by 24, it gives you 96. Then when you are applying these two limits here, 2 and 0, you can end up with this result like 31 over 6, right? So volume of this cubic object is 31 over 3. You can simplify it for decimal places or decimal number, or that answer is also enough, right? මේ answer එක උනත් ඇත්තේ තව ඕන දශම විදිහට තියන්නත් පුළුවන්. So you have to understand what's the thing you have to understand. Uh, First you have knowledge to fix limits according to dy dx or dx dy, and you have to knowledge for double integration and substituting limits. This is the only thing you have know to solve this type of question, right? Okay, we will end our tutorial for today. If you have any question, you can ask now or send me any email or message or anything like that. And we will meet next week with another time slot or මට ඔගොල්ලෝ මේ එහෙම දැන් ඉන්න කට්ටියට මේ ටයිම් එක කොහොමත් ෆ්‍රීනේ. මට පොඩක් අනිත් අයත් එක්ක කතා කරලා ඔගොල්ලෝ පොඩක් ඒක මට ටයිම් ස්ලොට් එකක් කියන්න පුළුවන් නම් ලොකු දෙයක්. මොකද මට කමියුනිකේට් කරන්න අමාරුයි. අසයින්මන්ට් 1 එකේ දෙවෙනි ගාන කරන්න පුළුවන්ද කියලා අහනවා. අසයින්මන්ට් 1 එකේනේ. හරි මම කරන්න පුළුවන් මේ මං කොහොමද කරලා පෙන්නන්නේ මේ වෙලාවේ මං PowerPoint slide එකකින් next week එකේ කරන්නම් right assignment 1 එකේ දෙවෙනි ගානනේ හරි මං ඒක next week tutorial එකට include කරන්න මෙතන board එකේ මට කරන්න බෑ mouse එකෙන් අඳින්න අමාරු නිසා okay we will meet next week and please let me know your preferable time slot for mathematics 3 tutorial, right? Okay, stay safe and study well, right? Okay. And Ikram asking, can you teach exponential problems? Exponential problems means, Ikram, can you unmute yourself and ask me the question? What do you mean by exponential problems? Exponential functions තියෙන integrations ගැනද කියන්නේ I'm asking Ikram send me a message to explain exponential Ikram's speaker not work right exponential problem is I think you are talking about functions integrating functions which include exponential cases ex ey squared like that no speaker yes madam right so when you are integrating y equals imagine you want to integrate I start from the basic function e to the power x. So integrating e to the power x, integration function of e to the power x is e to the power x, right? And like same as the differentiation, the difference is you have to in integration when you have function like e to the power 2x, imagine e to the power 2x when you are differentiating this function, not integrating, differentiating this function, you write the same function like this, e to the power 2x, and you multiply by 2 this function because the derivative of this power 2x is 2. So you multiplying your whole function by 2. In integration, I told about differentiation. In integration, when you are integrating e to the power 2x, you must write e to the power 2x constantly, and you have to divide your 2. That means the derivative of 2x term is 2. You have to divide it by e to the power 2x function, right? එතකොට e to the power 2x over 2 තමයි integration එක වෙන්නේ, right? එතකොට හැමතිස්සෙම කරන්නේ අර exponential function එකකදී exponential integration එකක් කරද්දී exponential function you have to write your exponential function as it is and divided by the derivative of the power of the exponential function. Exponential function එකේ දීලා තියෙන power එක තියෙනවනේ මොකක් හරි x cube හරි y cube හරි මොකක් හරි ඒ දීලා තියෙන එකේ derivative එකෙන් බෙදන්න ඕනේ. ඒක තමයි exponential function වල theorem එක. I think Ikram can understand this matter, or if you have any further questions you can ask me to the next week also, and I will include your second question of assignment 1 to the next tutorial, and we will discuss it next week, right? Okay, please yes.
අර substitution method කියලා එකක් තියෙනව නේද මේ integrator
Substitution
අර ඒ කියන්නේ multiplication rule එකක් වෙනකොට ඒක දානවා කියලා අපිට ඒක ඉගෙනුවේ නැහැ නේද assignment
ඒක assignment එකේ තියෙනවද?
එක ගානක් ඇවිල්ලා තිබ්බා එකෙන්.
මම තාම assignment එකේ answers හදලා නැහැ. පළවෙනි ප්‍රශ්න දෙක තුනට විතරයි කළේ. මම බලන්නම් මේ සමහරක් විට කවුද මේ කතා කරන්නේ පූර්ණිමද?
ඔව්.
පූර්ණිම සමහරක් විට මේ method එක substitution method එකකින් නැතුව වෙන ක්‍රමයකින් හදන්න පුළුවන් ක්‍රමයක් තියෙනවද දන්නේ නැහැ. කියන ඔයාලට හරියටම කියන්න පුළුවන්ද මොකද්ද ගාන කියලා මට? assignment 1 එකේ කොයි ගානද කියලා?
මම මැඩම්ට ගෙවන්නම් දැන් මට මතක නැහැ ගන්න
හරි මාත් බලන්න පොඩක් මේ ඒ වගේ මොන හරි අමාරු ගණන් තියෙනවා නම් ටක් ගාලා කියන්න මේ අපි second දැන් ඔයගොල්ලෝ අහපු second මොකද question එක assignment 1 එකේ අපි ඒකත් discuss කරමු next week, right? And please let me know a time slot for the tutorial, right? ඔයගොල්ලෝ discuss කරලා පොඩක් කියන්න. මොකද මේ අර ඔයගොල්ලෝ ඔක්කොමත් එක්ක contacts නැහැනේ මට. ඔයගොල්ලෝ ඒ උනාට group එකක් තියෙනවා. So ඒක නිසා පොඩක් ඔයගොල්ලෝ කතා කරලා මට වෙලාවක් කියන්න. මං හිතන්නේ මේ වෙලාවත් පුළුවන් ඇති අදාර lecture එක temporary lecture එකක් නම්. හරිද? Okay, we will see next week, right? Okay, good luck.